Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a wonderful week. We had some great trades last week, and during the analysis, I mentioned the AUDJPY as the trade of the week, and you have seen how that has played out. We will go through the trade recaps shortly, so just so I can show you what we looked at and how that played out eventually. All right, so if you look at the videos, on my videos, you will find that there are timestamps. Don't forget the timestamps. This helps you to track back all the pairs that we look at here. So all the pairs that I'm going to look at here today are timestamped. That means you can go to each and every pair that I'm going to look at here today individually. You don't have to watch the whole video. You can just click on the pairs that you're interested in, and that helps you a lot. You can back test all the videos, all the previous videos, just to see how we look at the market and how the market plays out. So that helps a lot. So about a couple of hours after the video is uploaded, the timestamps will be loaded because this video has to be edited first. All right, so that's how we're looking at this. So before we go to trade setups, I've got a big announcement to make, but it's not something that is finalized yet. And the reason why I'm mentioning it is because it's going to affect the cost structure going forward. I am in talks with a very big Elliott Wave trading company for partnership. So that will affect our cost, not necessarily the cost, but as far as the subscription is concerned. So that means if you attend the course, you may need to subscribe afterwards. And that is if you join us or if you join me after this this deal is finalized. I can't talk more about the deals because there's nothing finalized yet. It's just discussions at the moment. So that is what's going to happen. So as far as the course is concerned, we have currently just completed the first week of the course. We started on last week, Monday, the 11th of November. We've completed the first week. So now we're going to be doing the last week of the course. That is mostly the strategy and the practicals. So those that are still interested in joining, you can get the recordings of the past week and join the current course. So this is the last course of the year, and the next course is going to be in February next year. So what can you do between now and February? If you would like to learn, you can just join our Slack group and get a full recording of the course. So the course that is currently going, you can get a full recording on it, and then you can watch as if you had joined us. All right, so that is how the cost structure is going to be. So when you join, the fee is $529 US, and currently the terms and condition was that you stay in the group for 2 years. But as I've just mentioned, so that may change with the new deal with this big inverted commas trading company that we are in talks with. So if you join us after that has been finalized, unfortunately that is going to affect you. You're not going to get that 2 years for free. It's going to be on a subscription base. All right, so that is how that's going to work. So now let's go into our market analysis, starting first with the trade recaps. We start with what we do in the Slack group. Now I want to start with AUDJPY because that was the trade of the week last week, and I hope you all benefited from that. Let's go to AUDJPY. Now AUDJPY, for a couple of weeks I have been saying that this pair is going to drop. It was almost guaranteed that this was certainly going to drop. There was no question about it. You could see there was a three-wave structure here, and it needed to drop. Obviously, we have come about this level. It is currently doing something like this, but that has played out exactly as we wanted it to do, and that is the confidence that Elliott Wave theory gives you when you trade. So we've got this and that. As I mentioned last week, I said most of you will know, and I'm showing you that the direction of the market or the direction of AUD yen is going to be down. But how do you catch it? And I want to show you what we do in the group. We give the setup as the specific area where you need to take the trade. So this was the update on that as it was playing out. You can see now we had made an impulsive move down. We're still waiting for an entry. We're not entering yet. We were still waiting for an entry, and I'll show you when we entered, timing of the market, Let's just go through there. So this is the timing of the market. You can see the red line here was showing us that that was the trigger and it was ready to go. Now from there, you know what happened with Audi yen. It has just gone straight down as analyzed, and this is how this has eventually played out. Let me see if I've got an update there. So that is how that has eventually played out. You see that we've got that drop there for about 100 pips. Yes, it is pulling back currently, but we will do the update on where we expect the pair to go going forward. And that is how we time the market. As I said, they've got a special indicator that tells you when the market is ready, or when the price is ready to, or when the trade is ready to be taken. And this is how this has worked. All along I've been telling you, yes, it will come down, it will come down, it will come down. But when does it come down? Only when we get the confirmation structurally, and as well as confirmation by the cycles. All right, so that is how that works. That is Audi yen. Let's look at some of the trades that we have been looking at for November. So let's just do a recap for November. So I'll just do for the month. You've seen these ones. This was the CAD. We started with the CAD pairs in the beginning of the month, the US dollar CAD pair. You've already seen this. We'll show you the direction of where we expect it to go in when we start with the market analysis. This was US dollar CAD, and this is how it has pushed up higher. It has actually pushed up higher up to this level now, actually reaching target there now. Let's have a look here at some more. There was our US dollar CAD has played out perfect, inch perfect. US dollar CAD has also played out inch perfect. This is how, this is EURCAD rather, EURCAD. As you can see, these were all trades that were analyzed just before the CAD news in the beginning of November. Let's look at an update, and this one has played out inch perfect in just a couple of hours, has reached the target, as you can see. See, that is how we trade the news as well. So the question about trading the news, do you trade fundamentals? All we look at is what the structure is telling us, because the cycle is way ahead of the news. One of the great trades, and the reason why we were so confident that Audi yen was going to drop as well, was because we traded CAD yen exactly the same way. Showed you this one here, right here in this webinars, and I said this was going to drop. Obviously, when it was ready here, we were not live on the webinar. That is the benefit of those that are in the group. They actually get to see the triggers and when the trade is ready. Audi US dollar New Zealand did not play out the way we wanted it to do. It made this move here, and it is only now coming back now. Let's see what's going to happen here. This is forming a different structure. We will update this. Yes, you don't get all of them right. There's no magic about this. We're just following the theory as we understand it. Sometimes you may be wrong, okay? You may be wrong when you apply or you don't see the structures as they're playing out. Okay, so that is another one is a New Zealand CAD. So New Zealand CAD has dropped up to this level. It's currently making this corrective structure here. I want it to drop up to this level and then push higher. You'll see this one. This one has not played out as yet. You'll see this one during market analysis, what we expect with it, with an update. So this was just an update on Audi yen again. This one we took last week. This was gold dropping up to this level. You saw how well that has dropped. This is how gold has played out. That was the drop on gold. Just a few hours before we posted this, it played out, and some more. That was gold. Silver, perfect one on a daily. Look how well it drops here, and then it drops here. So you remember that silver, we did not only just trade it when it was here on the trend line. I said we are going to wait for it to come down here so that we can sell it here. When we were still here going into the blue box, when silver was still here, I said wait for the corrective structure to enter here. Now that is how silver has played out. It's played out inch perfect. You see that is how silver has played out. It dropped quite a number of points to the downside. Now I'll show you during the market update what we expect silver to do. We've come here, and then we're expecting silver to make another structure that is similar to this one, and then drop into the blue box before any move to the upside. That is silver and what we expect silver to do. UK 100. UK 100 has not dropped as yet from the blue box. It is still around here, just going sideways, but I still expect it to drop from that level. Has not gone anywhere, but there is a trigger for a trade there. Euro New Zealand, interesting, quite interesting structure, has not gone anywhere as yet. I wanted it to drop from here. Yes, it did come here, but it made this structure. So it eventually made a 1, 2, 3 wave structure and dropped like this. Now it has come back here. So we'll update during the market analysis where we expect it to go. So we've already dropped quite a number of pips from this level, and now we'll be looking for it to continue moving down. So what do you look at for it to continue down? That is when our special indicators come in. You can't just trade the theory alone. You need to confirm with a specific strategy. So this was the AUDJPY, same trade just before it started playing out. The new trades for last week was pound US dollar. So pound US dollar, as you've already seen, it has already come to this level. Let's just show you the update there. Now, where do we expect pound US dollar to go? We'll do that during market update just now. For now, it has already pushed up higher. Somebody's annotating on my screen. Let me just disable that. Okay, right, so that is pound US dollar. We have a trigger here for an upside, but the momentum to the upside looks quite weak, so we may get one more down. We'll do the update just now when we start with the market analysis as well. Silver, new trade as well. So we expected this one to drop, but this correction is still too small. That's why we're now expecting, yes, we've got this drop, but I'm expecting it to do a double like that before dropping something of a corrective structure that is this size before we come down here, and then from there, then we can start expecting a move to the upside. For now, we are waiting for that corrective structure. That is silver, and those are all the prayers for November and how we're trading in November. Okay, so that's the benefit that you get for being in the Slack group. Members that are here, they stay here for 2 years, but as I said in the beginning, this may be changing. Your subscription may be in a different platform. Okay, but and obviously that is not going to be free, as there will be a major there. Right, so let's get started with this week's analysis. Let's start with the cryptocurrencies. We'll start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, now I have been looking at Bitcoin as a corrective structure from current levels, from the last impulsive move that we got. If you remember, let me just switch off here what Bitcoin looks like. Now, if you remember Bitcoin, we took the trade from right here at the top. This is where the Bitcoin trade happened. We got it here, went here, and gave us all of this. Even when we were here and this was correcting, then this is the challenge that most people have. When the market is correcting, is it going against you? Is it going to reverse? Is it going to take away your profits? And if you don't have somebody guiding you, or if you don't understand the theory, you will not know. So you will just exit. But because those that are in our group understood and have got that guidance, they understood that this was going to drop. And not just the people in the group. We actually did this analysis when this was making this correction here. I said, expect this to drop here, get divergence, and you get this impulse. That is how we got this impulse. Now, we are looking at this pulling back. And I'm now looking at this. The view has changed a bit. Last week, this is what I showed you. I said this is going to be a pulsing move down. With that move, which I was looking at as an A move to the downside. Let's first look at the structure before we even talk about the labeling. Okay, so the structure for Bitcoin was like this: a move down here. Okay, and then we had a move down up here, different degree, and we were looking at this one as an ABC structure, but this has been invalidated because now this has gone extended. So what are we looking at now? So the view has not changed. We still expect this to come down as it is, but this may not necessarily be a single corrective structure. It may be a double. How am I looking at it? So this may be a leading diagonal. Let's draw it first with the annotation, and then we'll explain with the labeling, trading view labeling. So this could be a leading diagonal. You could be having a leading diagonal here, and your leading diagonal, you'll have your count like this. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 1 here. It's a 2. It's a 3 there. It's a 4 there. And this is your 5. Now, if this is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where must the move go? You must have a corrective structure. Where does this corrective structure go? It must be in the opposite direction. If you're going to have this, that means the move to the downside is still not complete, and to a point where Bitcoin can even come back and retest the 7,000 area. Okay, so you are waiting for this pullback to happen after the wave 5. Let's see how big this corrective structure is going to be. If you get a proper corrective structure here, we are going to get a very nice trade back to the 7,000 area, and around that area we'll expect another passing move. Okay, so let's see how this one plays out. For now, be patient with Bitcoin, wait for it to break out of the structure. Just remember that that structure may not be the reversal, and this may not be traded. It may be very slow structure because it's a corrective structure before you get this drop here. All right, so that's how we're looking at Bitcoin. Let's just show you the labeling is there. So that is your diagonal. Let's take off this, clean up the charts here, clean up all this mess here so you can see the structure clearly. All right, so that is what you'll be looking for. So now if this is your wave 5, if it drops slightly, gives you a wave 5, you get this one as an A, B, C structure, then that is you're going to be looking to trade at the end of B. And the tricky part and the challenge is identifying when does this B end and what structure are you going to get at B. Now let's have a look at something here. Are we getting divergence here? We are getting divergence for this leading diagonal, as you should, between 3 and 5 especially. You are getting divergence, and this divergence does not mean reversal. This divergence you see here, you're making a higher low here, and you're making here a lower low. So a new low here and a new higher low. Okay, so that is telling you that we're going to have some move to the upside. How far will this move be? Possibly to the 50% of this or the 61% of this. Either way, it doesn't matter, because we are simply looking for this to correct, and then we'll be looking for this to drop to the downside. This can also be a double correction or a flat correction like this before a move to the downside. So the market does not move in a straight line. It's not just a matter of ABCs and WXYs that goes straight. So you need to understand how the market moves and how it fills the gaps. Okay, so that is Bitcoin. The structure you'll be waiting for, it's going to drop slightly. At some point, you're going to get this. Right, so let's move on to the rest of the cryptos. That is Bitcoin. Let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum is making an interesting structure as well. So you've got a pulsing move here. Draw it with a straight line. So you've got a pulsing move. After that move, the Bitcoin move that you saw there, we made a move back. This is a pulsing move. As much as this was a spike to the upside, this is a pulsing move. And that pulsing move, you can look at this structure now. You can look at this as a 1, 2, 3 flat correction, and another 1, 2, 3. Let me do it with a different color so you can see it clearly. So this is another 1, 2, 3. So you can look at this. This is the same degree. As much as I've drawn this one in pink here, it is still the same degree. I'm looking at this to be a WX. Is the X complete? That is a good question. It may still drop slightly, and then we're gonna look for a Y here. Which structure is Y gonna make? Doesn't matter. All we know is going to be a 3-wave structure, and we should get, after that structure, we should get this move to the downside and then upside. Then it will be a big A B here, and a C there. Let's draw it in. Let's put in brackets just to show it's a higher degree. So that is the structure that you're going to be looking for on Ethereum. So now Ethereum, it may be have one more down, or this red degree or red structure may be starting here from current levels. It can still do that. So if you get a trigger confirmation with indicators, that will be, but as far as we are looking at it now, it is not confirmed as yet. It's not ready yet to go to the upside. So there's a possibility that this is a 1, a 2, a 3, one more down before we actually go down. Right, but let's have a look and see how that goes in the week. We'll see this one play out. That is Ethereum, looking very interesting there. The structure is clear. It's just as clear as the one on Litecoin as well. Let's have a look at Litecoin. Litecoin, it's similar. You can see we've got that pulsing move that we had on all those cryptocurrencies on the around the 25th, 26th of October. So now after that impulse, you get this one here, same as you're getting on Ethereum. So you've got here 1, 2, 3. you're getting another 1, 2, 3, an expanding flat there. So you're getting a W, a X. You could be going for a Y there. I'm drawing a zigzag, but it can be any corrective structure. It can be a flat or a zigzag or a triangle, whichever one. Now, when that structure is done, we should get a move back here, and then a move to the upside. Now, that will be also a big corrective structure like this, and I'm making it complicated, I know, for those that don't understand structures, and then we're gonna get this one again before the cryptos even go to the upside. So we're still gonna be sideways. Look out for this one now, and this and that. So you're looking for this move here on Litecoin. Right, Ripple, slightly different in terms of structure. We've got a move up here. We could be looking at this as a whole corrective structure here. And after that, this takes the low here, we may be getting a move to the upside. So track and watch this one as it comes down here. So you could be getting a move to the downside, and then this starts making a move here. So this will be a WXY move. So what you need to watch here is this coming down here and signs of reversal. Are you going to get a pulsing move? Are you going to get an entry? That's what you're going to need to watch out for. Let's see here. It's not ready. You're still going to come down. Okay, so that is Ripple, and those are the cryptocurrencies that we're going to look at for now. I know we're still going to start the crypto corner. I'm still busy preparing that. We're still busy with that in our group. Once we are comfortable to start out, we will do it, roll it out for free on a weekly basis. That is Ripple. And now let's look at the indices. The indices are looking rather interesting. Right, so this is the S&P 500. Now, I didn't make an update. There's something interesting that I'm looking at that is possible. I didn't do an update. I wanted to do it right here during the webinar so you can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so this is the S&P 500. You remember that we are looking for a diagonal, and we're looking at this as a 1, as a 2, and possibly these two be a wave 3 like this, and a wave 3 which will be something like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I said we're gonna have this one making a 4 and a 5. But what we are not getting here, we are not getting any sort of confirmation that this is going to reverse at current levels. We're not getting any signs of reversal. There's no divergence, there's nothing. Let me just have a look here on the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, I wanna see if there's any indication of a reversal from these levels here. Not even according to our strategy, are we seeing any signs of reversal? Let's go to the 1 hour and look there. So on the 1 hour, 2 hour rather, let's look at the 2 hour. See if we've got any signs of reversal there. So this move looks like it can still continue higher. Now, I want to show you an alternative in case the diagonal is invalidated. There's a very clear, there's a different possibility for the indices to keep pushing higher than where we are. Okay, if this is what's going to happen if the diagonal is invalidated. And this should not really affect you because the direction will still be the same. It's just that it's going to push much higher, faster than we anticipated. Now we've got this move as the first one here to the upside. Now looking at this one, this is a running flat, wave 2. Okay, now what are we going to label this? 1 and 2, 1, 2. Now, if you're looking at this, this will be a lower degree, and I'm going to use yellow as a lower degree here. You're going to have 1, 2, and this could be going for a wave 3 here, 4 and a 5. And if that is the case, that means you're still going to get a wave 4 in pink and a 5 in pink. So that means the S&P 500 can push even higher than the current levels if this is the structure that is going to play out. If we don't get a pullback here that does this, this is going to be rather an impulsive move. Okay, so now if that is the case, that means your wave 4 will be in the green degree like this. And this is just a forecast, so you don't have to do anything until you see, if you see an entry point here, then that is telling you that yes, we are indeed going to a wave 3 in the lower degree, the yellow degree here. So let's just label the whole thing. That should be your 3, A4, and a 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. and that will be the structure on the S&P 500, because we're not seeing any signs of reversal. There's very strong momentum to the upside, and it can possibly play out this structure. And this is the case for the Dow as well as the NASDAQ as well. Okay, so why are we looking at this structure like this? Because well, that wave 5 is the blue one here. I think I showed you last week or the week before that we are currently looking at this as the last wave 5. As the last wave 5. Okay, so this was a 4, this is a 5, it's a 3, it's a 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Simple as that. So this 5 can push higher the way I've just shown here now. Okay, so let's watch and see what happens there. Okay, so that is the S&P 500. You don't have to do anything now. Just wait for either a continuation pattern or a reversal pattern. The Dow, as I've indicated, it's got a similar structure. We were looking at a diagonal. This one looks to be starting to, it is right at the tip of the diagonal right now, but it's not showing any signs of reversal. But let's watch. If it starts pulling back like this, then we're going to look at it within the diagonal. And even if it is within the diagonal, it will not change anything, because we're still going to have this, and then this one is still going to continue higher. Okay, so that is the Dow. And also the Dow can also be 1, 2, be there. Not 1, 2, 3. It's 1 and a 2. And this, I've just switched the degrees. It's still the same thing, guys. 1, 2. This could be going for a 3, 4, and a 5. Okay, and this one will then have a 4, whichever structure it will be, and then a 5. Then it will be complete. Then we get that big corrective structure. For completeness sake, this will be 4 and a 5, and you're going to have this lower degree 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The indices are very impulsive, so you can get this structure being a straight line like that. Okay, so that is the Dow. The NASDAQ similar on the NASDAQ. Also right at the top of the boundary, you can see they're all doing the same thing right at the top of the boundary, but this one looks to be starting to break to the upside, and there is no sign of reversal. And this is why we're now looking at this 1, 2, maybe let's be consistent with the degree colors. 1, running flat there, switch off, leading diagonal, should be a leading diagonal in this lower one here. There's a reason why it must be a leading diagonal, because it cannot be a wave 1 if it is not. It is not a 3-way move. So you'll be looking for this one to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Then you look for a wave 4 and a 5 in yellow. Wave 4 and then a 5, and that will complete that structure. Then you'll have that complete. Okay. All right, so that is the NASDAQ. So what do you do now? You don't do anything. You wait for entry for continuation to the upside, because there is no sign of reversal. The indices are not reversing anytime soon. We don't have any indication of that. If you do get it, then we will adjust the structures. For now, we're not seeing any of that. All right, so that is the NASDAQ, Dow, and the S&P 500. Let's look now at the UK 100. UK 100 is one of the trades that were identified by one of our members, and he identified this to be a 1, 2, 3 here. We've got a blue box here, and we're looking for a reversal here, but this is coming down quite correctively, which means it may give you one more up before we come down. So even if it doesn't, we're still waiting for an entry here, and if we get this, then we're going to look for it to come down, because the idea here is that we are looking for this to be a 1, 2, 3, and it did not touch the top here, so it may get this move to the upside, and then only drops from there. So for now, let's just let me switch on the labeling here. For now, let's see what we get here. Are we going to get a corrective structure? Are we going to come down here? You don't have any confirmation as yet. This is the trade in our group. We're currently trading this and waiting for this to confirm. Excuse me, waiting for this to confirm. Okay, so we've got this reversal from the blue box, identified the blue box, has now dropped a couple of points. Now we'll be looking for this to drop to this level. Now you just leave it as it is, no confirmation there. The DAX looking rather interesting. You can take a screenshot of the labeling there. Did this a few minutes ago, so you can have a look at this one. So now the DAX, Looking now at this, if you remember, I was looking at this as a three-wave structure, looking at this as a running flat, but because this is coming up in passively, we know the reason why this, you cannot have a C that is in three waves, neither can you have, you can have a with three waves on a flat, but this is looking like a three-wave structure, and this is looking rather impulsive. Now you can take a screenshot and go study this if you can understand this, but if you don't, I can just show you the simple part, the simple way to understand it. You're looking at this as a move to the upside. Let's switch off here. You're looking at this as a move to the upside. You're looking at this as an expanding flat there, and then you're looking for this to push higher in 5 waves. Now when you look at the waves here, you've got this one as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 within the diagonal. So if it is 5 waves, then you can label it as A. You've got 3 waves here that we can label as B. Now here you're looking at 1, 2, 3. We're looking for another 4 and a 5 to complete the C as well. So you're looking for this wave 4 in order to get to that C. Then you will start looking for this to reverse from those levels. So we're still gonna have one push to the upside before we reverse. The same way, now if I go back 1 to UK 100, you saw it is coming down correctively. As much as we want to drop from the blue box, it's coming down correctively. So the UK 100 may go with the darks and give us one more up, and before we get that drop. Okay, so that's what we're looking at on the UK 100 and the darks. Let's look at the Nikkei. Nikkei, the same, you've got a 3-wave move here. It is almost at the end of its move. You're just looking for this to give you one up before any big move to the downside. So let's see how this one goes. If you get an entry, you can get this short move to the upside, but just be careful that this one will be reversing quite soon. All right, so that is the Nikkei. And lastly, on the indices, we look at the NIFTY. So the NIFTY, you're looking at this, we have been looking at this as an expanding flat. We're almost at the previous highs. So we looked at this one to be an expanding flat, not rather a running flat, my apologies. Right, so we're making this move to the upside. Are we now going to break this top here? So let's see here if we're gonna get a move to the upside like that and break the top. So if you get a corrective structure at current levels, you will definitely break this top here on the Nifty. No signs of reversal either. We have made a 3-wave move. It can give you another 3 and then a move to the upside. Right, so those are the indices. Now let's look at the measures, the US dollar pairs. Start with the euro US dollar. Now euro US dollar, we have made a move to the upside, this one here, which we thought was going to be the one that's going to take us up back to this level. Remember, we want a correction for this whole move, and we are looking at this as a diagonal. Okay, we're looking at this as a diagonal. Okay, it looks like that structure may change slightly. So we're looking at this impulse now. You've got this move to the downside. It's not convincing that this move on Friday is the reversal or is the continuation of the move that we're expecting, because there's a possibility of this just being a correction and then coming back down here, and then it will have made this corrective structure. But that does not change what our view in terms of this needing a bigger corrective structure, because you can have something like this here. You can have a correction and then you can have another corrective structure, and eventually you can still go to those levels that we're looking for with a WXY correction, basically a double correction or a triple correction. So either way, that may still happen. But for now, what we are going to do with the euro, we're going to trade it step by step as it comes. That's what we can do. That's the best we can do until we get confirmation of the structure that we're looking for. So for now, you've got an impulsive move to the upside. Let's look at it on the 4-hour. Let's look at the auto here. So you've got a pulsing move there. It looks pulsing, but it's 3 waves. It's a sharp 3-way move. So could expect that you get another 3-way move here. It can do this, and from there starts coming down here like that, and then you make a deeper corrective structure, and this may still continue to the downside. There isn't much momentum to the upside. For now, watch and see if you get this corrective structure. Target the same length as this going up, because this does not look like a reversal, especially having had this one reversing so deep here. So keep an eye on this one. That is Euro US dollar, Pound US dollar. Okay, so Pound US dollar, I showed you this one during trade setups. This was the trade here, the trigger of a trade, but there is no momentum to the upside. So it looks like you may get this move. We may get this move to give us one more down here like this. If it gives us one more down, we may have to relook at the structure. But overall, we're still looking at this as a corrective structure. As a corrective structure, there's a number of ways this can play out. Let's just have a look at one here. Should that give us the structure and we get this 3 doing that, then it's going to be a very complex structure because you're going to have this. You're going to have 1, 2, 3, and then the bigger one will be this white one. 1, 2, 3, and only then will it continue. So you see here, you still have 1, 2, 3 moves before you get that upside that you're looking for. Otherwise, if you get a corrective structure at current levels, this one is going to push higher, which this is the move that I don't expect. I'm expecting that it will go one down. I'm expecting this to go one down based on the volumes that we're getting here. So even when this was confirming here, it did not look like it was going to have much momentum to the upside. So let's see if this is going to be what we get. Only here, we're going to start expecting a move to the upside. Okay, so another way to look at this can be this one. Let's take this one and use this one as a yellow here. 1, 2, 3. What will this be? A W here, 3 waves down, 3 waves back, and then a Y. So that means it's going to come down in 3 waves there, and then it will go. It will then go. So that's why there's a possibility for it to give you this white one here in the next coming session. So let's have a look how that plays out. All right, so that is a pound DXY. Let's just have a look at the DXY. So the DXY is the inverse of what the euro is doing. So the is just like the euro, the DXY has made this pulsing move to the downside. So is this the reversal? Is this going to go up? So that's just like the euro. We expect that this can do a double here, can come back for another one and make a flat like this, and this will still go up like that before you get a move to the downside or before you get a move to the upside on the euro. So which is going to be 3 up, 3 back, and 3 up here on the DXY. Eventually, we'll be getting this corrective structure that we are looking for. On the euro, we're looking for this, for the inverse of this corrective structure, and on the DXY, this is the structure that we're looking for. A 3-wave corrective structure that is going to go to the 60% of this. Okay, that is the DXY. So for the DXY, you're looking for this correction here in the next week. So that means short-term weakness in the US dollar possibly, and that should support the move on US dollar upside and the move on Euro US dollar upside if you get that. US dollar CAD. Now US dollar CAD has reached the target that we were looking for here. Has reached that target exactly right to the pip. This is remember this is the trade that we took on the CAD news on the 1st of the month. Now we've reached this target here with a clear 3. Let's show this one. Let's switch off here. We've made a clear 3-wave move, a clear ABC structure. My drawing is getting skewed. So it's the A, it's a B, it's a C. Now you're making another sharp move in 3 waves like that. You should get another corrective structure and a move like this. If this is going to be any move to the upside, it will have to make a 3-wave structure in this size, similar to this in size, before any move to the upside. So this is not necessarily a trade unless you get this one to give you a clear trade that is confirmed by our strategy and the indicators that we use there. That is US dollar CAD. Wait for that correction. US dollar CHF. Now, US dollar CHF, let's have a look here. What do I have drawn? Now, US dollar CHF, you could be looking at this as a 3 down, 3 up, and now we're looking for this one to make the last move to the downside. Okay, so short-term US dollar weakness in the next coming sessions, let's see, should support US dollar coming down and making this 3-wave structure. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at. So this may be sideways a bit and then drop, or even this size. It can even make a correction this size before we drop. Okay, so that is a US dollar CHF. AUD US dollar. So AUD US dollar, we looked at this three-wave move to drop, which it has done. It has done. We had a three-wave move here coming down, coming up like this on AUD US dollar, and we expected this one to drop. Yes, we've got the drop now. It is pulling back. Can this be a corrective structure? And then we continue to the low, to the downside. For now, look for any continuation pattern here on AUD to trade at least a move to this level. Okay, so initially I was looking for this to be a W, to be a five-wave structure, a five-wave structure, five-wave corrective structure, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the problem was this impulsive nature of this, or no, actually this is actually right, because you've got three waves up here, pull back, and another three waves up. So that is actually perfect. Now you're looking for this one. It can do this and that. Okay, so this pulsing move to the upside is not convincing. May just be a short squeeze, start correcting again, and continue lower. Let's switch off here so we can see the structure clearly. So the structure on AUD US dollar is this one here. You're seeing this move up, back, and a move to the upside. That's why we expected this drop here. Okay, now you're getting this one as a pulsing move. It can do that before dropping. That will be a WXY structure. What you saw here in the lower was the lower degree, WXY. Here you've got an ABC, an expanding flat. Here you've got a zigzag, ABC, just like that. And that's why you're looking for this one to drop with a sharp move. Drop, break the low, and then move to the upside. New Zealand. New Zealand, we're looking at this as a expanding flat the same way as AUD US dollar, and for this to drop all the way down like that. Okay, so let's have a look at what the structure looks like now. Now, with New Zealand, we may be getting all of this as a corrective structure. So that means you would have this one as a 3 move up, a 3 back, a 3 move up, and a possible 3 back that is currently forming here. You should get one more up before you get the drop. Okay, so that would be a W, a X, a Y, X, and then a Z. Switch off there. So the X is currently building here with this move. This is the X that is currently building here. And the X is actually this whole structure here that's gonna form here. Let me draw it cleanly here. The X is this move. Let's just use a different color of what we're seeing the X is doing. We've started with a move down. This can make a 3 move up, back, and that will complete the X, and only then will we expect to get our Z move to the upside, and your X will be something like this. Okay, so that will be the X. So it's a W, it's a X, Y, X, and then a Z to the upside here. So still a bit of a move to the upside, back, and then upside to complete. Then we'll expect downside on AUD. So this will be the corrective structure. You'll wait for this to break to the downside. All right, so that is New Zealand US dollar, and that is New Zealand. Let's look at US dollar ZAR, last on the US dollar pairs. Now, US dollar ZAR, we looked at the gap last week that has made us an impulsive move here, and the correction which we said is going to continue to the downside. As you can see, this is how this one has played out. This is how this one has played out, and we'll be looking for this one to drop slightly back to retest this one. Now, US dollar ZAR, I had a structure that I was looking to happen, but it is not making that structure. So like Euro US dollar, what we're going to do is we're going to take, I'm not going to focus the number of moves ahead. We're going to focus short-term moves until we get the overall structure that this is happening. For now, we're going to get a corrective structure to come and retest the bottom here. Okay, So after that, we'll expect a bounce here. Now we'll then update the overall structure that we expect on USDZAR. Let's look at the higher degree structure and what we expect here. So the higher degree structure that we expected was that this was gonna push higher and take this area. This is the structure that we expected. It's 3 waves down, as you can see. 1, 2, 3 down here. Big expanding flat here. 1, 2, 3. Has this completed, as I'm expecting that this would have been the lower degree structure of this one to make an expanding flat. This one would have been a 1, a 2, and a 3 within this one, which is the same degree as this one. Okay, so your 3 waves here, let me not draw it in red, let's draw it in yellow still, would have been a 1, a 2, not with that color, a 1 in yellow, a 2, and a 3. And this 3 will be the lower degree here. So you see here, this lower degree, 1, 2, 3 waves here, 1, 2, 3 waves, and 1, 2, 3 waves. This is what I was expecting, but it's coming down with this structure. So we're still expecting this one to complete before we get one more up. Okay, so this one would have been also the lower degree in 3 waves, the lower degree in 3 waves, the lower degree in 3 waves there. So 3 waves all around, which we expect this one to be as well. Slightly bigger than the others, but it makes structural sense. So for now, like I said, we're just gonna do this. Take it down here, take this level. It can be a structure like this, and then a move up. What will this be? It will be this structure here, and you'll have a move down, correction, and a move down. Then you get a continuation to the upside to then take this level that we've wanted to take in a while. All right, that is what we are looking at on the US dollar ZAR. We'll take it step by step. Now let's look at the yen pairs. Yen pairs, especially this pound yen, like the pound pairs, we have been in this corrective structure. This is on the daily. Let's go into the lower degrees to see what the structure is doing here. I'm expecting this, and then one more up on pound yen. Let's look at the 4-hour, see what we're looking at there. Now, if we look at pound yen, we've got this structure here. Let me clean it up. It has already played out what we wanted it to do, to come down here to this level. We still want it to go up, but in this case, it's not gonna go up in one straight line move. Let's have a look here. So you've got a move down here. Look at this one, it's a complex correction. 1, 2, expect this to come, break the top, make one more down, and then go. That will be your W, that will be your X, that will be your Y structure, and then upside. So for now, we're playing out the X to complete at the top of this. That's why I've got this one here. We want it to go to the top of the boundary to take the top there. You can see there's not even momentum here as this is coming, as is going up. It will just come here, take, and then we're gonna come back down here. Then we'll expect a move to the upside. That's what we're looking at on pound US dollar. I'm not looking to trade this short move, neither am I looking to trade this. I'm looking to trade this one here. It's going to be a significantly bigger move than these short ones here, and it's going to have a better risk to reward ratio than the others. US dollar JPY. Now, US dollar JPY is a little bit tricky because we want this to go to the upside. Let's have a look at something here. Let's see. Okay. Now, US dollar JPY, there are 2 ways you can look at this. You can look at this one as an impulsive move that has got 5 waves, right? And then you label those 5 waves as A, and then this is B. There's a possibility that this is a ABC structure. And it can only be a C if C has got 5 waves. C must always have 5 waves. Doesn't matter where it is, must always have 5 waves. Now, in this case, you can have this one as 1, 2, possible 3 here, a 4, and a 5. So your C can be within this diagonal. It's not what it is playing out as yet. So it can still do that diagonal, and then we label this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, making you a C. Then here you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Okay, then you get that as A, then you get this one as 1, 2, 3, your B, and only then, if that is the case, let's switch everything off here. If that is the case, then you've got here yourself a diagonal on your AUDJPY. Now, this does not mean reversal at this point. So you can get a strong move here on AUDJPY that does this, but then still continue higher. What will that mean? What that will mean is that you're going to have a bigger W, which is this, a bigger X, and then a bigger move to the upside. We are still sticking to the previous weekly analysis on this on USDJPY, that this is on a move to the upside. Let me show you that weekly analysis that we've got in the group on the USDJPY channel. Let's clear this so we can show you the pinned chart. I hope it's still there. This is the one here. The current move that you see, to the upside here on AUDJPY is this one on the weekly, or rather on the daily. So we are currently on this move. It is currently here. It is currently around this level. If we wanted to go to the B there, it has to correct and then make a move to the upside. Then we will be done with this. We'll be done with this structure, and then we'll look for this to go to the downside. So we are currently here. Now that move can be an A, B, C. Whether this is a diagonal in C, doesn't matter. If this is an impulse, A, B, C structure, that does not really matter. That's why we're looking for this. This way we identified that this was going to come, and we didn't identify this move only now it started. When we were still here, we said this is going to come down, it's going to come back up. Now we're here, just a few move pips to go to where we want it to be. So that is our USDJPY. So watch for this. If it's not going to be a diagonal, it's going to give you this, and then a move to the upside. Okay. Even if you do get that, that will still result in a big correction and then upside. But we'll update this as we go along. Let's look at EURJPY. EURJPY, I showed you a structure last week that has happened previously. You can go watch last week's video and you will see now we're starting to get a move to the upside. What I showed you last week was that you can find as a waiver structures like this. What do you do when you find something like this? And I showed you that this can actually be made very simple. Okay, let me switch this on here now so you can see what I did. I still have my structure here. The only difference is that this one has made it has made a bit of a sharp move here to the downside, but it's still the same corrective structure. Okay, so now what is happening here? You've got this as a first move. You've got this as a, let me use a different color so you can see clearly. Because you should not force these things. If it's a three wave, it's a three wave. If it's not, it is not. Here you've got a three wave structure here. That is a 1, 2, 3. So you've got a simple flat correction combined with a zigzag. Simple as that. Now here you had something similar. If you don't remember where I got this from, this is a bus pattern from previous analysis on this very same pair. This one made an X here. Let's show the X in a different color. I'll show you where I got that bus pattern, this bus pattern from. And then from there, we looked at this one to be a running flat. What is the difference between these two? It's a combination of two corrections, W, X, and a Y. And this one goes from here. This one is a WX and a Y, and this one goes from here. What is the difference here? Same thing. Okay, and especially this first move was exactly identical to this one here. The first W is identical. The X slight different in that this one is a running flat, but this one is an expanding flat. Now, what are we expecting? We're expecting euro to make one more up. I know overall I'm expecting the euro to come back. Okay, so where did I get this bus pattern? I got it from, let me see if I can find it here quickly. I showed last week. If I can find it now, you can just go and click on Euro US dollar timestamp. Sorry, Euro Yen timestamp from last week. Okay, got it. It was here. I got that bus pattern from here. Let's do it on the 4 hour. That's where I got that bus pattern, 4 hour. Okay, so that is Euro US dollar on the 4-hour. Let's see, let's get there again. This is where it was last week. I want to pull that bus pattern again. That bus pattern, I get it from here. Bus pattern, I just picked it up from here and I ended here. This time I'm gonna end it here. We want it there. So that's what we're expecting there. Let's remove this one. We don't need it anymore. We're done with this. So this one here, we're expecting one more up before we get the down move. Okay. So difference here is that this one has got a flat and a zigzag. This one has got this one was at a flat and a running flat. That's why we got the move to the upside and then we dropped. Now the same thing here, I'm expecting this one to make one move up, and then a drop. Simple as that. Right, that is Euro Chief JPY. Now Chief JPY, the structure that I'm expecting is that this is going to be a slight drop to the downside, giving you the structure. Overall, you're getting this 1, 2, and a 3. So you may still get 1 correction here, complex, 3, and then we make a move to the upside. One more up before we come down. Remember, we still have these 3-way moves that needs to drop. Okay, still the same one, which will still drop. What do you expect? What do you want to do here? Here you don't do anything. There's no setup. There's no trade with a good risk to reward ratio there. That is Chief JPY. Audi has made a pullback after that drop. What you will be waiting for is it has made a 3-wave structure on the 1 hour. Will it reverse from current levels? We need to see that. There's a possibility that it reverses from current levels, 1, 2, 3. It can even do this 1, 2, 3, come back down here and make a structure like this, and then downside. Okay, if you remember CAD yen that we traded exactly the same way, it made a pullback like this one, made a move like this and did this, and then it dropped again. Okay, so look at CAD yen that we've traded exactly the same way. Okay, I'm gonna jump the others first before we go, we will do the rest. So you see CAD yen, we traded from here, also dropped. And then what did it do? It made a pullback and then that and did this. Exactly the same trade as Audi yen. Now what has happened with CAD yen? It dropped again. Exactly what we expect with Audi yen. It is making a pullback, yes, it will drop again. Watch for that corrective structure to complete. Watch for that corrective structure to complete. Now let's go to that Audi yen now. So that is the pullback that you see. The red line is where the trade was ready. We took it from there and then we got that, all of that. But now it's pulling back in this structure. Can it do this and then drop again before we get to the target? That's what we are looking at on Audi yen. And then CAD yen, we've traded this one already before. It's also making a pullback. So now the CAD yen pullback could come and retest the top here. What you want to do here now is to get a corrective structure that will come and retest this. That will give you this as a regular or a running or expanding flat. Okay, so wait for this one to give you a correction entry to push to the upside. It's not going to drop from here. Should continue higher. That is CAD yen. And that's all the indices, or rather the yen pairs. There's also Audi. There's also Audi yen. There's also Audi yen. Audi yen, if you look at the structure, this is what it looks like. Has made this internal structure here, another complex corrections, a lot of complex corrections. This one here has made this one, yellow degree continue, this one upside here. Look for continuation to the upside, break here before any move to the downside. Let's switch off here so you can see the structure that I'm looking at. You've got a regular flat in the middle here, and the overall structure here is a No, not even a WXY. This one is an ABC structure. It's a textbook flat correction. It's 3 waves down, 3 waves back, and 5 wave moves to the downside. Okay, and that is the structure that you have, and then you'll be looking for this to push one up. Correction, one more up. Those are all the yen pairs. Let's run through the pound pairs. Now, looking at the pound pairs, not the pound pairs, rather gold and silver. Silver and gold. Looking at silver, got a trade from when it broke out of this structure here. There was an entry here, drops. Now it's making this structure. I'm expecting that this structure may be a little bit complex like that before we get a continuation move to the downside. Let's show why we expect that on the 4 hour. 4 hour is a lot clearer because it shows you the whole structure. Now on silver, you already have this 3-wave peak, 3-wave move correction here after the first 3-wave move. So that is your W, that is your X. Now, if you're gonna get the Y must also be in 3 waves. So this will be, your Y must be in 3 waves like this. It must be 1 move, not in yellow. It must be a 1, a 2, and a 3. Now where we are right now is within this corrective structure. You see here we had a 1, 2, 3 on this one. That was a WXY in the lower degree, not a WXY, ABC rather. It was an ABC structure. Let's draw it in the lower degree. A, B, C. Okay, now we're looking for the same. A, B, C. Now this B can be the same size as this one. We've made the drop here. You saw this trade on our trade setups. We wanted to drop from current level, but we can see now that this structure needs a correction similar in size as this one before the drop. So watch out for this corrective structure for the drop. Gold. Gold, the same. You'll be looking for a corrective structure that is the same in size as this one. You've got to move down. You've got this one as a correction. This one looks like a triangle now. Looking at it as a triangle. Okay, now we've got to move up, move down, and we're going to get this, and then that will give you result in that corrective structure that will do this. Now what you're going to have there is you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right, no, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Triangle. Now you're going to have 1, 2, 3. The triangle is the only corrective structure with 5 waves. Okay, so you can have something like this. You are here now. When this is done, you're looking to take this. So keep an eye. You have to wait. Pound chief. Pound chief, similar to Audi yen, you've got to move down. A lot of complex correction this time. One, you got this one as a correction. Move up, retest the top, come back down, and then go. So that will be your ABC structure. If you like a lot of labelings, you can look at this one as a W, as an X, and a Y. Then you can also label the internal structure here in the lower degree. I'm not going to go through that. Just wait for this one to take the top and come back for 1 before it goes. That is pound chief, pound Audi. Pound Audi has broken out of this. Remember, we looked at this one. If you look at the previous videos, we looked at this one as a move, looked at this one to be making another move here, and the WXY, XZ. We looked at that one, and then after that, we expected that those was going to push higher. We have now pushed higher just before the previous high here. Are we going to get a continuation pattern to the upside? Are we going to get a continuation to the upside? We've made a 3-wave pullback. Is that the one that we're looking for? Is it going to push higher? It's the same as pound US dollar. Let's go here. So pound US dollar, we said it does not have momentum going up. So this one can also do this, can also make this correction a double here before pushing higher. Okay, so let's keep an eye on this one. Either that or it can go from current levels, because currently it has pulled back in 3 waves. You can look at it in the 1 hour. If you look in the 1 hour, we've pulled back in 3 waves, but that's a very deep 3-wave pullback. 1, 2, 3. Are we going to push higher from current levels? All we want is for this to break out of the structure. Then we'll assess that. And our strategy will confirm whether we go up or not. That is pound Audi, pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand. We looked at this one to be making a 3 move to the downside, a clear 3-wave move back. 1, 2, 3. We said this one is taking the top here, should come down. That is what has happened last week on the euro. I don't know what happened with the New Zealand pace, but those are the drops that we got. And if you remember, we've got a trade on Euro New Zealand. We also got the drop on that. So that's why I say, even if you're not looking at fundamentals, you'll always see these things. So we've got this drop here to the downside. Let's look at this one, should be in the purple degree. Okay, so you had a 3-wave move here, that's a zigzag. Here you could make a different structure here that will come retest there and do that. So if this here is a 3-wave move here, this can be a W, this can be a X, this can be a Y, and this then will continue higher. Okay, so that's what you're going to be looking at here for this one to drop slightly and then continue to the upside. That is pound New Zealand. I'm tempted to do Euro New Zealand now, but let's rather finish the pound pairs first. Now the pound pairs, if you look at CAD is going to drop. That's your trade of the week. You're going to get a drop on CAD, at least back to this level. Trade of the week. Look for this to do that. Drop from current levels, and then continuation to the upside. So that's your trade of the week. Watch it. If you get an entry, you're going to be getting a trade back to this level. That's over 200 pips. 200 pips from here. Somebody says barrier triangle. We don't look at barrier triangles. We either look at a triangle correction or a diagonal. We don't even look at wedges. That's a different way of looking at the market, Kitty, just to answer your question. Okay, so this one is, let's have a look here. Do we have divergence? You see divergence? Making higher highs. This will drop, guys. It will drop. This is the third time I'm saying this. I said it with CAD. I said it with Audi yen. Now I'm saying it with pound CAD. This will drop. Will you get it? It's a good question. Pound CAD. Right, so those are all the pound pairs. Let's look at the euros. Euro pound is coming down. Euro pound is coming down in a V pattern. This will push higher. It will push higher, but first we'll get this one more down here. We'll get this one more down, and then we're gonna get this push to the upside. Okay, let's look in the 4-hour. Coming down in a V pattern with some divergence, should push higher eventually. Very strong divergence here. Very, very strong for divergence. So as much as this is coming down like this, coming down in a V, what we like to call a V pattern. A V pattern is not an Elliott wave structure, guys. Something that we use to call this, to identify this structure easily. But there is an Elliott wave structure there. You can see we've got 3 waves down there. This will go up. Okay, you can see divergence. There's an internal one for this one here. There's a bigger one for this here, which is this one. Here it's starting to turn as well, so this one will come up. And when that happens, that means the pound pairs are going to come down first. Okay, because this can make a 3-way move to the upside and then continue lower. The pound pairs are going to continue, are going to make a move to the downside first. If we get this, that means the pound pairs are going to do this. When this does this, the pound pairs are going to do this. Then we're going to do that. Then we're going to do that, the opposite. Okay, so that is Euro Pound, Euro Chief. Now Euro Chief, you saw this one last week. We said it was going to make a corrective structure here. You got a corrective structure. That's why you got the drop. Now you've got a pulsing move to the upside. Wait for a correction and continuation to the upside. Should go with the Euro US dollar in the coming week, because you've got a pulsing move like that on Euro US dollar. So in the week you should get that in the next coming sessions. Euro New Zealand, I was tempted to do this one together with Euro with Pound New Zealand. We're pulling back with this one here. Even if we do come back up here, that will be a three-wave move and we should continue lower. Okay, remember the trade here was this one here. It made this and then we dropped. Let me just show you what structure it has made. Nothing has changed in terms of structure. We're still seeing a very clear structure. It's just made a complex structure here. You've got this here, you've got that here, you've got one, you've got two, you've got three. Right here, then you've got that drop. How did we know that it was going to drop? Whatever news there was on the New Zealand pairs, how did we know that we were going to get this one coming here and then drop like that? That's because the structure was ahead. That's what it was telling us way before. That was the trade. Now we've dropped this much. Now you're looking for this one to do the same and continue lower. Okay, does not have to make this structure. Whichever one it makes, it can drop like that and then come back up here, or it can come take the low here, back up and then continue lower. But eventually this should be making moves to the downside. That is Euro New Zealand, Euro Audi. Euro Audi, it just follows Euro New Zealand. We've got 1, 2, 3 up. You're getting this pullback. Okay, so Euro New Zealand, just look for this for now. Just a slight move to the downside, just that. Then we'll look at whether this is a three-way move or whether it's making a move to the downside. Let's look at EURCAD. EURCAD, just like pound CAD, wait for this move to come down. We've already got this pulsing move. You could be looking at something like this here. But for now, you're trading the down move. Let's switch off here. For now, you want to get this down move. If you get a pulsing move, you already started the pulsing move. Are we gonna get a correction here for downside? That is the move that you're gonna be looking for. Okay, wait for this to give you an entry and then downside. Let's look at some of the cross pairs. AUDJPY. AUDJPY also is one of the trades that we have been looking at. Said last week, if not the week before, that look for this one to drop here. Dropped, corrected. Now you've got this. If you go watch the video last week, you'd have gotten this trade. That's why I said last week that watch as much of the video as possible, because this cross pairs have got some interesting trade. I was referring to this. Right, that is AUDJPY, Audi New Zealand. Dropped with a New Zealand. I don't know. It must have been the news here. Dropped with a New Zealand news, and it has made 1, 2, 3 down and the 3 back up. Now we're making this move to the downside. This one was going to make continuation to the downside. I don't see it making this A, B, C. This being A expanding flat. I don't see the momentum for upside. This one should have already made a strong impulse if this was going to be a continuation there. So wait for this one to continue, make a continuation pattern for one more down. That is Audi New Zealand, CADJPY. CADJPY, correction here, one more up. AUDCAD, correction here, one more up, but the trend is down. You're looking downside. So basically what I'm saying is just look for any corrective structure here that will fill this gap here. Okay, that is AUDCAD, New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CAD, I want this one. I wanted this one. After this 3-wave move here, I wanted it to come, take the low here before it goes. Looks like it may just be making another X here. And if that is the case, we're going to look at this as a move up, 1, 2, 3, and then a Y. If this is going to give us a structure like this, you can see here it's going to drop. It wants to drop from current levels, so we're going to expect this one to come down. Okay, so let's expect it to come down, but eventually we'll be looking for this structure to drop so we can go take the low before we go up. And I'm not drawing it clearly. I'm gonna, one of the days when this one is set up properly, I'm gonna show you why I am expecting, after this touch here, I'm expecting a very big move that's going to take a couple of months to complete to the upside on New Zealand CAD. So when that sets up, I'll go through it in detail. So New Zealand CHF, we're looking for this one to push higher, one more up before any move to the downside. This is still a corrective structure, all of it, and then downside to at least retest that low here. That will be A, B, and C. Your A being this one here. And if you were to make it complete, one like that, that's what you're going to be looking at. But it's just high level analysis. Lastly, let us look at oil. We're still looking at that 5-wave structure, 5-wave corrective structure, the WXYXZ on oil. So you've got 1 here, you've got 2 here, you've got 3 here, you've got 4 here. You're looking for the 5 to complete. Now, while we're looking, how does that fit in? You've got 3 waves here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then that is the last push that you're looking for on oil before you get a move to the downside. Now, how do we label this to make it clear? This is using the pink color, W, X, Y, X, and then you're looking for this last piece of Z to complete. Now, if you want it to be complete, you will label this lower degree as W, lower degree X, and a Y. W, lower degree X, and a Y. Now here you're going to have A, B. Now you're waiting for this one to make a 5-wave structure. So it can make a diagonal in Z for it to be a C before you get a drop. That's all I had for you this week, guys. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you get a notification next time I post. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck trading in the week. Cheers, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye.